Recording in progress.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Greetings, everyone. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Sabbath day? This is the second Sabbath in what we call March. This is the second Sabbath in March. I'd like to say greetings to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is having a great and beautiful Sabbath day today. Today is March 14th, 2026. This is March 14th, 2026. And this, where we at right now, this is the assembly of the righteous. This is the Sabbath day, which is the assembly of the righteous, the seventh day of the week. And we're here to go. We go through the book, we go through scriptures, and as we go through scriptures, we break down and understand where we are in this day and time and the things that the Creator has placed for us, not only in history, but in prophecy. The things that was prophesied to happen, to come to pass, that we may understand the things that's going on in our day and time, and the things that we're doing, the things we've come to know, and where we stand with the Creator in His Word. So right now we get ready to start off with a prayer. We always start off with a prayer, and just to let you know that we will be today. Will be um, today's information or lesson, how you want to call it. This is Solomon's wives and his death. Solomon's wives and his death. This is the last chapter, which is I think this is chapter, what is this, 11, I believe, this week. Yes, it is. This is First Kings chapter 11. And this is the last of King Solomon we're going to be on today. I believe so. And we're going to go through and see the situations that has happened, that has gone on. And what we come to know according to the Creator's word. Like I said, what we come to know according to the Creator's word. Not what we believe, not what we think, but what we know according to the voice of Yah. All right? So, let's see where we at. Try to make sure everybody's kind of clear. So, right now, we're going to go through we're going to prayer. We're going to do the prayer. And after the prayer, we're going to go through the scriptures, which is we're going to go through the law. Then from the law, we're going to go through why we have prophets and where we are in this day and time and the things that's happening according to the things that has been prophesied from the voice of Yah. Other than that, blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father to our tribe of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help lead and guide others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to help us in every way. We ask you to allow us to prosper in your way, in your word, that we may bring your kingdom into fruition, that everyone would know and understand that you are the king of this earth, and this is your dominion that you have given us to dwell in and to lead your kingdom through your laws, your ways, and your commandments. We ask you to help us in every way, and also, Father, allow us to retain your knowledge, your information from your words and from your law and from your voice, that we may know and understand and do them as well, and help lead, guide others to that information as well. We ask you to forgive us of any sins that we ourselves, our forefathers, and our ancestors have done against your laws, your commandments, your words, and your way. We ask you to forgive us of these things and help us understand and understand these things that we may know to turn to do your will and your way. We also ask you to help us in the sicknesses that we're going through in this day and time, the things that we're going through that was spoken of in your law that was going to happen to us as a curse throughout the earth if we didn't keep your laws, your statutes, and your commandments and your will. We ask you to forgive us of these things and help us understand these things and understand these things, that we may grow to know, to understand, to do, that these things may be relieved from us. We also ask you to lift the spirit of sleep from us as well, so we may awaken to your word, your light, and your law. We ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise your might. Thank you, Father. All right, greetings, family, friends, and the world. We're here, and this is the Sabbath, which is the assembly of the righteous, where the righteous come together on the Sabbath days to keep the Creator's word, His laws, and His ways. Right? So by doing these things, we are in obedience to the Creator's laws and to His ways, that we may have right to the kingdom of heaven, which is this earth that we will dwell in and upon. So right now, what we're getting ready to do, we're going to go through the law that the Creator spoke from His lips to the children of Israel. He spoke to the children of Israel, and they were there to carry out His laws, His statutes, and His judgments, and to be examples to the world, of His name. And His name is the law, as far as I'm concerned. I don't mean a physical title. I'm talking about the actions behind the things that we're supposed to be doing. And your actions says a lot more than your word and your lip service. And that's the problem we have today. A lot of people looking for a name to call on, but you don't do the actions behind the lip service that you're giving. But that's the difference. So right now, we're in Exodus chapter 20, verse 1, and these are the commandments that Yah spoke unto the children of Israel in the wilderness. And it states, the 10 commandments, Exodus chapter 20. And Yah spake all these words, saying, I am Yah thy father, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, out of the house of Mizraim, out of the land of Mizraim, which was Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other deities, gods, before me. Right? He's telling you directly. Thou shalt have no other deities, gods, before me. Second commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah thy father, am a jealous father, visiting the iniquity of the fathers, which are the parents, upon the children, which are the children of those parents, unto the third, which is the Greek, and the fourth, which is the Roman generation, which is world powers, of them that hate me. And these are those who hate the Creator, who has changed his laws, statutes, commandments, and His word. And showing mercy, which is grace, unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Right? Third commandment. Thou shalt not take the name, which is His law. A lot of people look at a name specifically, which pertains to a noun, but the name is actually the law. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy father in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh His name in vain, His name which is His law. And what just come to my mind is a good name will follow you. So if your name is not just a particular name, but if it's your ways and actions, it's the law. This is what people fail to realize. Fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it hallowed, which is set aside, which is holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah thy father. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Why? For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. As we can see, that's the name He named, as far as we can see throughout the scriptures. The fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, which I believe to be the elders, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy father giveth thee. And if you're honoring the elders, that means you're listening to them, because they have been where you haven't, and they're sharing information with you that you're coming to learn in order for your days to be longer as well. Seventh commandment. Sixth commandment. Thou shalt not murder. And though it says thou shalt not kill, we know that when you kill someone, you have to kill something or someone for a purpose. When you murder something or someone, you're taking life without a cause. You're taking life without a cause. Excuse me. Seventh commandment. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And as I was sharing, as I shared last week, adultery, idolatry, and fornication is all of the same thing. It's going against the law's word, meaning is idolatry, and is idolatry, fornication, and adultery. It's idolatry by being of anything other than the Creator's word, which actually more of like another god. At this point, it's more like a sex god. If you're committing adultery, you're being lustful. You're being all these other things that's not according to the Creator's word. Eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal, which we know is taking someone else's belongings. Ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And as I say, prosecutors, lawyers, and attorneys, they do this all the time. Make accusations about something that they wasn't at or they wasn't there to see for themselves. So that's bearing false witness. 10th and final commandment that the Creator spoke, according to what the scripture says, that thou shalt not covet, which is want thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet, which is want thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Anything that belongs to someone else, we're not supposed to want. Okay, let me do this real quick before I bring this brother in.
Recording stopped.
Brother Patrick, how you doing? Can you let me know this is you so I make sure that this isn't someone coming in under your name?
This is me, man. This is me.
Good to see you, bro. Glad you're here. I just had to pause it for a moment as I was going through the law. Now I can start to.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. That's my brother Patrick and my sister Julia. My sister Julia is here out of Florida, and my brother Patrick is here out of the UK. That we're here. Now we just got done with the commandments. Now we're at the people's fear, which is actually the continuation of Exodus chapter 20, verse 18. And this is the reason why we have prophets. Verse 18, and all the people saw the thundering and the lightnings, and the noise of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. As I always say, if you got thunder and lightning going on outside, I mean real thunder and lightning, and you in the house, you're going to be scared. You're going to cut off all your lights. And back in our day, we used to say that God's speaking. But in that time, think about being out there in the open field and that thunder and lightning going on like that. That's why the people ran and moved afar off. It says smoking, and when the people saw it, they removed afar and stood afar off. 19. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God, Yah, speak with us, lest we die. That's verse 19. That's going to be very crucial in the next point of view we get ready to come to, which is Deuteronomy 18. But right now, verse 20. Exodus 20:20. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Yah is come to prove you. He always proves. You got to prove all things. And that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near into the thick darkness where Yah was. So as we see, Moses spoke to, well, not Moses, the Creator spoke the commandments to the children of Israel. And then Moses drew into the thick darkness and went into the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. But right here, the other part of the prophet, which is the reason why we have prophets today, and that was them telling Moses, you speak with us, and we will hear. Don't let Yah speak with us lest we die. That was the fear because of the thunder and lightning that was going on at the time. So this is the conclusion of that point. Deuteronomy 18, starting at verse 15. And it states, Yah thy father will raise up unto thee, you, a prophet, from the midst of thee, from the midst of you, which is of thy brethren. From the midst of Israel, he gonna raise a prophet up upon you. He gonna raise a prophet up, like unto me, like unto Moses, who he used to speak to. Unto him ye shall hearken. Unto him you're gonna do the words that he tell you to do. 16. According to all that thou desireth of Yah thy father in Horeb, which is what we just read when he was reading the commandments. When we read the commandments. In the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yah my father, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. That's what the people said then, and this is the conclusion of what they said at that time. Verse 17. And Yah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet. Who's going to do it? The Creator going to do it. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, Moses, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. The Creator spoke it, and he said he's going to speak up a prophet like unto Moses. Now, I was listening to Pastor Jennings a few days ago, and I actually taped it, and he said, what they said in the New Testament, you got one here greater than Moses. That's where they get this from. They think that this goes with him. But all the prophets in the quote-unquote Tanakh, the Creator rose up. Why? Let's see what it say right here, verse 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak. Who shall speak? All the prophets that speak in the name of who? In my name, which is in the name of the Creator. They spoke in his name. I will require it of him. Now, let me ask y'all something. It just hit me. Most of the time when, quote unquote, the prophet in the New Testament, when you will see a difference in chapter 4 and chapter 5 of Matthew if you study. Chapter 4 of Matthew, it says, it has been written. It has been written. It was written that the Creator said this, this, and this, and that. In chapter 4, when he was speaking to Satan. But in chapter 5, after you get past verse 20, 21 on through, you hear it say he disrespect the Creator. He says, you have heard of time old. You have heard of old time, that's what he said. You have heard of old time. But I say unto you, that's disrespecting the word of the Creator, straight off. He just said, verse 19, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require of him. When he said, I say unto you, that ain't the Creator talking. That's the word of man. Matter of fact, that's the word of man that they put in there saying that this was somebody else said it because they changed the name. That's how they modified the New Testament. That's how they modified the words of the prophet that actually came. They took his word, switched it around like they do all the time. They do it all the time today. They'll take your word, tell you said something else other than what you said. They do it all the time. But it's up to you to pick that up. Again, 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But I say unto you, but the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other deities. Right now, you got prophets around here speaking in the name of Jesus. That's another deity. See, people don't even catch it. When you study, you can see and understand. You can see the flaws. You can see the mischief, or you can see where they manipulated the word once you study. Again, 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, that there is that's breaking the ninth commandment right there. bearing false witness. Or that shall speak in the name of other deities, like I said, speaking in the name of Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, or whoever else. Even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how we shall know the word which Yah have not spoken? How we going to know it? How we going to know it? Now, one is you got to study the Old Testament to see if he said anything or not. If you're looking back here, if it doesn't say, thus said the Lord, that's your key. Thus said the Lord, thus said Yah. However people want to try to say it, you can't mix up that point of view. When it says, thus said the Lord, you know the creator talking. I don't care if they say, well, his name ain't Lord, his name ain't God, his name ain't this. And we know who he talking, we know who's talking and who they talking about. That's the difference. People try to make every little, what they say, they try to, what's it said in the New Testament? Said they try to swat a net and Mr. Camel, something like that. I'm not a quote with all that other stuff. But you know what I'm talking about. They try to swat at a net and the other stuff that's going on, they ain't taken care of. So, when a prophet speak, verse 22, Deuteronomy 18:22 in last verse. When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yah has not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, thou should not be afraid of him. Don't be afraid of that person because they're talking outside their neck. If it don't come to pass, or if you don't see it in the law, which is the law and the prophet, the Torah and Tanakh. People don't even realize when the prophet spoke, that's still Yah talking, so that's still his word, which is still law. So now we over here in today's information. We're in Solomon, we're in chapter 11, which is about Solomon's wives and all the things that has happened to Solomon. But we're going to do some straightening up on some information in the scriptures today. We're going to straighten up, we're going to do some straightening up with information in the scriptures today. Let me make sure this is Brother Cass coming in.
Recording stopped.
All right. Let me hear from you, Brother Cass, or my sister Belle, before I unlock you. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear your voice because you know we get people coming in under people's name and they try to put that foul stuff on my Zoom. So I just got to make sure as you come through. So right now we're in chapter 11. You just made it in as we get ready to get started with 1 Kings chapter 11. But you know, I always like to go through, do a little preview of what we spoke on the week before. So actually in 1 Kings chapter 10, last week we were speaking on Solomon's riches and fame. And the first half from chapter 10, verse 1 through, what was that? Verse 1 through 13, Queen of Sheba came. Queen of Sheba came, which we spoke in last week in part 1. Queen of Sheba came. She gave hard questions like our people do today, like I made a comment as I did last week. Like our people do today. Our people are quick to judge and talk about stuff they don't know. But if they go with all the lies and other stuff like that, people can lie to them, but they can be going with lies for years. But when you start coming with truth and start showing truth and knowledge and information, they want to question that, which is good. They should question it. But they still want to deny it after looking at the facts of the truth in their face. They do it all the time. We still got people worshiping Jesus today, even though they know Jesus didn't come. Even though they know the prophet that came wasn't named Jesus. Even if they know that the commandment says, thou shalt not worship no other God besides him, and thou shalt not call upon or make any graven image to worship them. And that's what they're doing. They do it all the time. All the time, and they don't want to let it go. But that's on them. When you come to know better, you're supposed to do better. So right now, that's what happened with Queen of Sheba. She came through. She brought many gifts, though. And this is something I was sharing earlier this week. Yeah, I'm going to say earlier this week. I think it was earlier this week I was sharing it, or the end of last week. But one thing is this. Like with our classes that we have, we have on Tuesdays, Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge, right? She brought many gifts, but she came at them with hard questions. It was one thing I said, I do this class for free. So that means that they don't feel entitled to me. See, when people pay you, they feel entitled. They be like, well, I paid you, so I want this. I want that. No, not here. If I'm doing this for free, I'm doing this on my terms. I'm trying to accommodate you, but I'm doing it on my terms. Because people feel entitled when they feel like they gave you something. Now, if you give something out of donation, you give something, that's on you, and I'm thankful for it, and I will let it be known that certain people gave a donation. I ain't gonna say I mind putting nobody's business out there what they did, but I will let it be known who did what, and and it's very appreciative. But you ain't buying me. You ain't buying me, and I'm thankful for the Creator to let me realize what happens when people do that. When people give you stuff, or when they feel like they give you something, and I let it be known, we doing this for free. This is the creative work we doing. So you ain't buying this for me. We doing this for free because this is already for you. Now, if you chose to give a donation, that's very well appreciated. But the fact is, I'm not getting bought, and you ain't gonna sit up there and try to tell me, well, I gave you this, so I want It don't come to that. Nah. And that's what people do. So I just making that point of view. When she came, she was giving her a question. I'm not saying that was the reason why she was giving it, but she was just sharing it. It was saying on here how she gave her a question, but everything that she was asking him, he answered. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to answer all things, but we have to have the proof. Not just answering because you want to answer something because you just want to give an answer to something that may not even fact. I remember a guy did that one time, but I'm not going to go into that. In a congregation. There was three of them sitting up there at the congregation. Two of the other guys, this other guy just went and gave something that pertained to something. It pertained to what it said, but it pertained to a couple of words that was there. So I said, they don't even go together. I said, they don't even go together. But he just threw something out there. I don't do that. If it's something that I don't know, I'll get back with you on it. I'm not going to give you something falsified just to appease you and to make you think that I answer your question. I'm going to give you an answer according to the scriptures and according to the book. According to the word of Yah. If the Creator spoke it, I'm going to show you where he spoke it, like I'm going to do today. So it's a lot of things that came out. I ain't read this in a long time, but we at where we at today. So the first part of this, of 10 last week, was about Queen of Sheba. The second part was mainly about his fame, his riches, and the things that he's done, the people that had done things for him. Many people all over the earth was coming to him, So verse 23 over here states, this is the second part of verse chapter 10. It says, so King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which Yah had put forth in his heart. I'll get when you get the last one. It says, and they brought every man his present. See, that's another thing. When you go play, you put me and brother Kaz confirmed that last week. In Germany, when I was there, when we go to places or people's houses, something like that, you will bring a gift. You will always bring a gift when you go to places like that. And that just shows the prosperity of certain people as well. But a lot of our people, we beggars. Give me. I want. They always want something for free. Well, how can I get this? They always want. They don't value reciprocity. Put it like that. They don't value that. They always give me. Want with their beggars. That's all they are. Most of our people are beggars. You know why? Because they'll understand the knowledge or the understanding of the situation of being an entrepreneur. If you've been an entrepreneur, you understand the work people do and the things they do to make things happen. Many people don't even understand that today. But as it says, and they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and garments and armor and spices, horses and mules, and rate a rate year by year. Every year they bought stuff to him. So that is majority of the stuff that happened in chapter 10. Chapter 10 of 1 Kings. Now today we have Solomon's wives, idolatry, the anger against Solomon, the adversaries of Solomon, and last but not least, his death. These are just certain headings here, but we're going to go through it in a few minutes. So, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1, Solomon's wives and idolatry. Now, it's something to this. I'm going to get this set up right now because, see, I told you, see this and that. I'm going to give you something to understand what the Creator said about this son. I think that's 2 Samuel, I think that's 15, is it? 2 Samuel 15, I believe it might be. Nope. Wasn't 15. Let me see if it's 12. Let's try 7. I want to make sure I have this ready when we get to it. Oh, yep, 7. Yep, that's exactly where I'm going. So I'm going to have this ready because I know I'm going to have to come here. See, I have to give y'all the word of Yah for understanding. So I'm just going to get that ready because I know it's coming. All righty, here we go. 1 Kings chapter 11, and it says, but King Solomon loved many strange women. You see that? But he loved many strange women. That was to his detriment. Let me tell you, I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with this right here. But Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zodians, and Hittites. You see that? See that right there? But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites. These are the Moors, whether y'all know that or not. I'm a Moor. The people are, if you're black, you're a Moor. No, you ain't. Y'all got to get understanding with the information that y'all think y'all know. Especially these Moors. These people who was coming out of sleep, which has been dead in the mind for years. I'm a Moor. A Moor is a Moabite from the children of Lot, which is from his 2 daughters. Lot and his 2 daughters, they committed incest. And the first daughter had Ben-Ami, and ended up calling them the Moabites. And then they went from Moabites to Moab throughout the Bible. Then went from Moab. You won't find the word Moor in there because Moab translated throughout the years without the Bible, and it's where the word Moors come from. You got to go back and find out where the beginning started. And the beginning started with Lot and his 2 daughters after Sodom and Gomorrah. Get knowledge, get wisdom, get knowledge, but you got to get some understanding. I actually did a post on that. Go on YouTube and look up Who Are the Moors by Mikael or by Juice Pro 33. Check it out. But of the nations concerning which Yah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come unto you. For surely this is Deuteronomy 7. You see that? This is law. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7. 1 through 4. The Creator spoke this. Of the nations concerning which Yah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come into you unto you. Surely they would turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon cleaved unto these in love. You see that? And let me share something with y'all. See, you got to understand. Solomon was the wisest man in the earth. as we can see. The Creator said that. But you got to understand something. A woman can be, I ain't going to say is, a woman can be a man's downfall. If you love a woman, if she just so fine to you, you feel like you'll give her your world. So that's the point with the women of today. If they really knew the power that they had and understood the power that they have when they with a man that loved the Creator. If they really understood the power. These feminists out here don't even understand the power that they have when it comes to a man. If they was with a man. And I'm not saying that to give them power over the man or think they have more power than the Creator. I'm giving them the understanding how much a man, just like the Creator loved Israel, as it spoke of in Jeremiah chapter 3. He said he married unto you Israel and Judah. He's married unto us. But when you get fed up, I don't care how much you love somebody, when you get fed up, they got to go. And that's what people fail to realize. If we really knew how much the Creator loved us and we turn back and start doing the laws, the statutes, the judgments, and everything that he will have for us to do that we are able to do in the land of our, in not only the land of our captivity, in the point of being captive in the mind, because that's where our captivity starts at. Number one is when you came to this earth, you was captivated in the system under paperwork. Then you was brought up in the system under paperwork and under the mentality. Everything starts here. Your mentality is what's got you captive. Why? Number one, the Creator said you's going to be captivated or being captive. But see, he also said you're going to be bondsmen and bondswomen. And that's paperwork. See, we have grown, me and my wife and many of us have grown to know bondsman is more than being in shackles. That was the old way. The bondmen and bondswomen today is the paperwork with your birth certificate, social security card, and ID card. Those are what you're sold by on the stocks. See, all this is coded, and y'all don't even know. That's the information is right here in the scriptures, and y'all can't even see it because you got to have a spiritual mind to see this information. And that's what I'm saying. I bring out information of today in the scriptures that people don't see. Why? Because they religified. Religion. They're all about religion. They're religious. And that's the problem with it. The Father never gave religion. He only gave his laws, statutes, and covenant. And he prophesied the thing that was going to happen. But if you can't read the code, you're blind to it. If you can't read the code, you're blind. You're blind. You can't see. You need to wear sunglasses like DMC, as they said back in the day, if y'all know about Run DMC. But let's keep it moving. So, as we said, Solomon cleaved unto these in love. And as I was just saying, women don't know the power they have when it comes to a man. They don't know the power they have when a man loves you, a man do almost anything, and he'll lose all he got for a woman. That's why they set up marriage. When you bow to a woman, you just bow to their God. Their God is who? The Caucasian man standing right behind them. You bowing to your woman, the Caucasian man. Why you think she run to the Caucasian man for everything they want? But they want to put everything on all men. What men is controlling the earth? What men? The earth is the way it is because of men. What men? The men that you serve? Women? Majority of the women up today? You feminists and the ones with the spirit of the enmity on them? You serve them, but trying to put it on us. Make it make sense, as Kevin Samuel used to say. But let's keep it moving. Verse 3. And he had 700. Yep, let me show this was here. Let me take you out now. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubine. Those 700 wives would sound like they was princesses. And 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Hold on. I want to make sure I get this part right here. No, I'm going to put this in violet. Teal. $300 wives. And 700 wives. But if you notice, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wife turned away his heart after others. See, when a man get old, he get weak. Look at it like for what it is. Put that in teal as well. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other deities. They took up his time. It takes up time. When you have to start doing stuff like that, that takes time. See, when you're into the creator, you're doing work of the creator, you ain't got time for other stuff. When you get to start doing stuff like that, plus all them women, they trying to get you to cater to them, you got to start taking your time up for those women. And those women are taking your time up for the things that they want you to do. Look at how many women today. Now, I'm people call it women bashing. It's not that. I just show things for what it is. It may sound like because I'm saying it, but I just show you the facts of what's going on. Right? The women, they want the man to be at the house and they want men to follow what they want to do. If they don't, they turn it back. If they don't, they get upset. If the man don't do what they want him to do, they have a problem. You see what I'm saying? It's because the man is catering to what the woman wants, and whatever the woman wants is really a deity because it's outside of the creator. It's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be the man catering to the creator and the woman catering to the man what the man is doing so they can cater to the creator. That's what it's supposed to be. But things have been switched around and people can't see it. If you understand. Tell me, am I lying? How many of the women out here want the man to come? Man is out here trying to work, right? Women start to cheat. Why? Because the man ain't at home. Majority of the time. Not saying men don't do it. We talking about men. See, let me just explain something to y'all. When I'm talking about men of my stature when I talk about men. Now, there's a lot of other men out there I'm oblivious to because I don't think like them. I'm not a boy, and I'm not a womanizer. So I don't think like them. So if you hear me talking, I'm talking about what I know. And I know a lot of women, and it's all on the internet. You see more, and that's why I can speak on. You see more women out here talking against men, playing men, getting divorced from men, getting divorced from their families, than you see men doing it to women. I say men. I'm not talking about these players, pimps, and all that. I'm not talking about them. That's outside of my category. Y'all don't hear me talk about gays and the LGBT. I just say it like that because I almost went somewhere else. Y'all don't hear me talking about them, neither do you. Why? Because that's outside my category. I don't have to talk about them. That's not a part of the family of the creator. So this is understanding what I'm trying to give you. This not talking about those people. I'm not talking about the gays, lesbians, and all that. I'm not talking about them because they're not a part of the creator's kingdom. I'm not talking about the whoremongers and the guys out here playing pimps, and I'm not talking about them. So the ones I'm talking about are men, and I'm talking about the women, and I'm talking about the feminists that the creator spoke of in chapter 3, Genesis 3:15 and 16. That's what I'm talking about. So, and everybody get to talk about, well, you just women bashing. No, I'm not. I'm talking about people in our category. And the ones on the edge of the line of the category. Everybody else is in hell. I'm not talking about them. So I'm just letting this be known now, because some people think I've been women bashing. You heard it here first, right here, when I'm talking about Solomon and his wives, so you can get better understanding what and how I'm speaking. When I speak, I'm speaking about us. I'm talking about men. I'm talking about women. And I'm talking about the feminine spirit. I'm just going to leave it at that. The feminine spirit is those who could be of the creator's on the creative side, but they're on the opposite side. All that other stuff is way out, way across the field. Gays, lesbians, and all that stuff on that, that's across the field, as well as the men who's out here womenizing. They're not part of this category. So I'm explaining this so you have a better understanding. Whoever gave the hearts, I thank you. Over there on Facebook, whoever that was. I see Sean Quill, Sharam, and my uncle Anthony Avery. Good to see y'all here. Oh, True. Thank you, Unc. Yeah, I see you got True over there. So that's who I talk about. So when you hear me talking about women, I'm talking about either the feminists or the women that's with the men. That's the difference. So I'm just letting that be known at this point. So when you see right here when it says verse 4, 1 Kings 11:4 says, "For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other deities, and his heart was not perfect with Yah his father, as was the heart of David his father." That means it changed. It was perfect at first, but it changed. But it was something that the creator said. I'm going to show y'all in a little bit once we get more down into it. Because I know a lot of people say, well, he turned this. I'm going to give you what the creator said. See, I like giving you facts. People like to talk what they believe, but I'm going to give you facts. Let me go right here. "And his heart was not perfect with Yah, as David his father. For Solomon went after," okay, here go these other deities. "For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites." Now the Ammonites, they are kin to the Moabites. That was the second sister that had a child by Lot. The Moabites and the Ammonites. "And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yah, and went not fully," see that? "And went not fully after Yah, as did David his father." You see that? You see that? You see that key, don't you? Went not fully. See, when he changed, when he got older, remember I was just telling you about your time. Your time is important to what you do. Your time is important for who you spend your time with. If you notice me, I spend my time with the creator. I'm always talking about the creator. I'm talking about his word. I'm talking about the things we should do, how we should do it. I'm always talking about the creator. If I'm not talking about, I'm talking about something productive, like in helping people in their health, their wealth, or their from sickness into the light of information and things like that. I'm always talking about something knowledgeable. That's the creator. Something knowledgeable that the people need. That's how we're supposed to be growing. But when we get to talking about stuff that's non-essential, stuff that really is not part of really what life is about. Well, let me just make an example. Now, again, with the women and the men. You got a lot of women, as I shared a few minutes ago, you got a lot of men that's trying to work. They're going out here every day, trying to do all they can, make a job. And then you got some women that's got these serpents. Gotta call them that because that's what it is. It's only two types. It's the system and it's the people that has that serpent-like spirit in them. They're crawling on the belly. They're sneaking. That would crawling on the belly meant they're sneaking around. You got man going to work. I just seen I think I seen that this morning or just last night. Guy set up a camera up under his one of his dresser drawers or whatever. He put it up under there and plugged it up. She supposed to left to work and he left to go to work. He rolled up the street and he was watching it. She come back in the door. Now all you can see is their feet. And you see her dress, and you can see it just at the dude's pants. He done put the camera down there, and he can see it from where he at. Now some guy come in, she there, she talking to him, yeah, do this, whatever. Next thing you know, he slipped off his shoes, he slipped his pants off. They both went in the back room. He rode on down to the house, came in, seen the shoes and pants right there, come in through the back door. The guy then jumped out the window and gone. Well, what are you doing here? This and that. I thought you was going to work. See what I'm saying? That was the serpent. Like I said, anything outside of you and your relationship with your husband is a serpent. If they're trying to come in any type of way, that's the serpent. The first serpent is the system. Kick the man out the house. You got to see it for what it is. The system is the serpent, and the entity within you is either righteous or wickedness. No other. Just like right here. It doesn't talk about Solomon's righteousness no more, do it? All it said was, and Solomon verse 6, and Solomon did evil in the sight of Yah and went not fully after Yah. Make sure I get this in the yellow so they can get a better understanding of that. His heart was not perfect with Yah, as was David, the heart of David, his father. And down here at 6, that was the end of 4. Down here at 6, and Solomon did evil in the sight of Yah, and went not fully after Yah, as David, his father. Give me some more yellow here. Went not fully. You see that? So he didn't. It didn't say he didn't turn away from Yah altogether. He went not fully as David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, the Moabites, Moab, or should I say the Moors today? The Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molich. I mean, tell me he did something to Molich? The abomination of the children of Ammon. Man, this is crazy. Molich. A high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, that is before Jerusalem, and Molech, the children of Ammon. You see, Molech was that was a religion. That's like Christianity. So the people thought Molech was a people. Molech is just like Christianity, burning their children in the fire. No different than they did with burning our children of Israel and our people in the sun, which was a slow death. People don't see that. The man hung over on the cross in the sun until he died. Suffered till he died. And they even have the song on Sundays talking about that. Sunday song. Oh, he suffered on the cross. He suffered. And they can't even see what suffering is. It was a slow death compared to being burned alive and on a quicker death. Still both of them death. Verse 8, and likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their deities. Y'all see that? Now, let's see if the Father gonna say anything else on that before he is, because Yah's angers against Solomon. So now I'm gonna go into this before I give y'all not my conclusion, but the conclusion that the Creator said according to that son. All right. I like to give facts. Everybody get to running off and get to talking stuff they don't know because they have no understanding. All right. Yah's angers against Solomon. And Yah was angry with Solomon. Verse 9. And Yah was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Yah of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Now you see that? Think about that. That's how he was. I would have been angry too. I showed you my presence. I gave you my presence. I appeared to you twice. Father appeared to me in his own way when I went through my spiritual awakening. I'll never forget that. I would never forget what I saw, felt, and heard when I went through my spiritual awakening. Some people say epiphany, however you want to call it. But I would never forget it. And I will always, far as I know, unless the Creator do something to take me off of, which I hope and I never think it'll happen, I would never get off my path with the Creator with what I come to know, for what I've come to see, physically, spiritually, and mentally. I know where I stand. That's why I know who I am. I know who I am. I know where I've been. I know where I stand. Y'all can take it or leave it. Come one or come all. And Yah was angry with Solomon. See, it's the key. He was angry. And this is one thing I want to say. Be angry, but sin not. The Creator can't sin because the Creator can't go against his word. That don't mean he can't get angry. Don't mean he can't get upset. He was upset at David. But he forgave David, didn't he? But David got punished. That's something else that I'm going to show you that the Creator said. Oh, man, I did move it. I think I had it set. Okay, I know where to go, though. It's all right. I moved because I thought, hold on. I ain't going to get there yet. Right there, got it. Verse 10 again. Verse 10. Or shall I say 9? And Yah was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Yah. His heart. And y'all know when you believe something wholeheartedly, you all in. Where a lot of these people believe in Jesus. Was turned from Yah, his father of Israel. Which had appeared unto him twice. You see that? That's the key right there. He appeared twice. And a lot of time when he appeared, a lot of people are like, he showed his face. The Father said, no man can see his face and live. He appeared to him in ways that the Creator showed. The Creator's presence, like a lot of times you say when like real foggy or when a cloud appear. The Creator's presence is in the cloud. The Creator's presence is in you. When you're speaking up on his word, when you're speaking on the things that he's speaking on, when you're talking about the things that the Creator is speaking on, his presence is within you. And y'all can't, and that's the problem. That's the sad thing about all these people talking about his name. Well, his name is Yah. His name is Yahshua. His name is YHWH. His name is this and his name is that. His name is the law. He is in the law. That's what people don't get. This I made a post not too long before I got on. Now I make a post. I answered a question to a post. This brother named Roy Jackson made a post, and this brother named Moshe Eliyahu, I think it is, and brother Ramah bin Israel, they made some questions and whatever, talking about the name. So I asked a question. I asked, according to a name reflecting a noun, right? A name, when you give someone a name, it reflects to a person, a place, or a thing. Am I correct? I'm asking y'all. You think on it for yourself. When you give someone a name, it reflects to something. It reflects on or to something, whether it's a name or a title. Mostly names are titles to something. And most titles bear names to something. So I said, was there a name before languages was made or vice versa? Then I gave all these different lists of names down. I even put title. I put church, Bible, I asked, what are these names or are these titles? What do they mean? I ain't gonna go no further into that because someone did come back and say, well, I can answer your question, but But what do you, mainly he said, I can answer your question, but what do you mean by the question? I said, bro, if you can answer the question, there's no need for me. This is exactly what I said. If you can ask, bro, if you can answer the question, there's no need for me to give you an answer to the question that I asked. That's stupid. You can tell me you're going to answer it, but you're going to ask me the meaning behind it. The answer is right there in the question, the full question. But this goes to show how smart people is, how smart they think they are. Everybody's looking for a specific name. You can't name nothing. And that's one thing my father-in-law, which is my youngest children's grandfather, he said that before he passed. God is nothing. God is nothing. And then the brother I was with at the time, my brother Cephas, he said, God, nothing. He was looking like, oh man, I can't believe he said that. And I was just there laughing. I was just smiling, laughing. I said, he said, God ain't nothing. God is nothing. Like, he was old. He was elder. He was an elder in age. Brother Page was elder in age. That was his brother's name. He was elder. He was up in age too, getting to the point of dementia. But when he would come back, he said, God is nothing. God ain't nothing. God ain't nothing. That's what he was saying, right? And I was just sitting back laughing and smiling. But my brother Cephas, what are you talking about, bro? He said, God ain't nothing. He looked around like, Brother Page going crazy. That way he was looking. And I said, what it is take the word nothing and break the word nothing down. Break the word nothing down and what you get? No thing. Nothing. The creator is no thing. So how can you give no thing a name? And this is the problem with what I'm trying to get people to understand. The Father is everything in all things. But the Father is really universal consciousness, which is no thing but a conscious mindset. This is where your imaginary, this is the image you was made out of. Image is a part of imagination. That's what you was made out of, from the image of the creator. Now, all this is a form. This is a form that he made us out of from the dust, but the image is what he made us from. That made us like him. That's why everything we see came from an image from our mind. So everybody that's right, well, his name is Yahshua, Ahuwa, Yahuwah. Man, let's go to show people they dogs chasing their tail. They have no understanding. The law is the presence of the creator. And as long as you have the presence of the creator within you, by keeping the law, the creator is within you because the law is within you. A good name is the law. And this shows how dumb some people are who think they're so smart, they dumb. But hey, I may not know what I'm talking about. You tell me. So, verse 9. And Yah was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Yah of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. 10. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 10. And had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which Yah commanded. You see that? And I'm not going to give him a pass because he remembered, but the point is, like I said, he got old. He got old and he got soft. No different than y'all parents. When y'all become, how many of y'all know this and tell me if am I lying? When y'all become parents, y'all strict and hard or straight up with your children. Most of y'all anyway, because some of y'all cream puffs. Some of y'all cream puffs. Y'all let your children do stuff that they know they ain't supposed to do right. Y'all let them cry and scream and y'all don't keep y'all have no discipline. For some of y'all. But for you that do, I'm talking to you. For you to have discipline for your children and know how to discipline and keep them straight and keep them in line and teaching them correctly, I'm talking to you. Now, when you were parents coming up, your parents were strict and hard on you.
You're doing the same thing to your children that your parents did to you because you know how you came up. You know it made you a better person. You know it made you a better individual to go out through life, to respect others and things like that, because your parents were strict or harder on you than letting you do your own thing. But when they become grandparents, what happens? Oh, they want to give them the world. They want to give them that. That's when they become soft. Tell me, am I lying? Same thing what happened right here with Solomon. You get soft. And I'm not saying that that's part of life. But what happened was the fact that he got with these women outside of his household. Now, I'm not putting it down. This may be in for a purpose. I'm not gonna say this is what he should have did because this is his life. See, and that's the point where a lot of people they're quick to point the finger at somebody. We all go through certain things for certain purposes. And I understand that because I'm a product of it. I went through my spiritual awakening. But I had to learn things going through to get to where I'm at today. I'm more strong on the truth today than I was 20 years ago. But in between the 30 years, I'm going to say, between the 30 years, it was things that I still had to come to know that I couldn't find straight off in the scriptures that were still in my face. For instance, I'm gonna do this. You know how they say in the Christian church, crystals and stones and stuff, that's of the devil. This and that's of the devil. And they talk about everything is of the devil. These Christians is going Christian crazy. Everything is of the devil, which is still the creator, according to Isaiah 45:7. Everything is of Yah. But it's how you use it. That's the key. It's how you use the things that we're supposed to use and we're not supposed to use. We're not supposed to make things deities. We're not supposed to make things gods to bow down, worship and stuff like that. But let's just say, we'll call it astronomy. Some people say horoscope. But it's the reading of the stars. That's the actual title for the name. You see what I'm saying? Astronomy, the meaning of astronomy is reading of the stars, the stargazing, or whatever you want to talk about. Now, certain times of year we see big dippers and other situations in the galaxy. We see these things. Matter of fact, that's how they navigate on the seas and stuff like that. They navigate. Matter of fact, on land, they see which way the North Star. They see different situations that they navigate through, but we just put a name to it. No different than they're doing with Yah, Yahshua, Yahuwah, all that. They just put a name to something that they can recognize. If you understand what I'm saying. So the whole thing, what I'm trying to share with this situation right here is this. Excuse me. The Creator told us to keep the laws, commandments, and the statutes and judgment. Now, in the commandments, statutes, and judgment, a lot of things are there. Stones, crystals, you can say organized energy conductor, but just the whole point of all these different things are there. And they there for a purpose. No different than last week. I'm glad we right here. Last week, as we was going through chapter 10, we come across a tree, one tree. Now, if y'all go back to part 1 of last week of Solomon's riches and fame, we talked about this tree called the Algum, Almug, I think it's Almug or Algum, Almug. We got on a full conversation last week of that one word because it talked about a tree nobody knew nothing about. We got into this conversation. Brother Kaz shared the information about it. We all had a long, about maybe a 20, almost 30-minute conversation off that one subject of a tree that we knew nothing about. And this is what I'm talking about. It's in the scriptures. You don't know nothing about it unless you read across it and see it, and then you start doing the research behind it. Once you do that, then you start to know more information about things that you're looking up or trying to find out. It didn't say worship the tree. We just found out about it. It had a certain fragrance. It was reddish in color from what we come to understand. But the whole point is that we found out more about it, even though it's in the scriptures or right here in chapter 10, verse 12.
verse 12, and a few other places in here. But the whole point, we took just that one subject, and it went on a whole different manner. And it was good because we learned something that we did not know. But it ain't say nothing about bowing to it, and worshiping it. And that's the difference. So, in that whole conversation, kind of like in this whole conversation, Solomon, I can't speak on what he did. We know what he did was against the law. So that goes to show, whatever you do is your choice to do. He knew the law. I ain't going to say what he thought because I ain't going to put words in his mouth. I ain't going to think this and that. It said what he liked. He said he loved women in strange flesh. He loved that. A lot of time, when you love something, you're going to be drawn to that more than you would do anything else. And there's a lot that goes with that I'm not even going to speak on because that's when you get caught up. That's when the idolatry, which is the illusion. There you go. Thank you, Father. That's the word. Idolatry is nothing but an illusion. It's the opposite of the imagination. Think about it. Imagination and illusion. Imagination is something that you can make and do, but an illusion is something you can make something totally different out of, something that you can make your thank you, Father. An illusion you can think of something totally different than what it really is supposed to be. You have alluded to something. Hey, baby, glad you can make it. You can allude to something. So now you have an illusion of something, and this is the idolatry. Because now you're believing in something that's not real. That's an illusion compared to your imagination or your image that you can say. An image, you can say, okay, bam, I want this, bam, I want this house to be like this. But the illusion now I start to bow to it. That's your illusion. Guess what just hit me? Hit me strong. Bam. Thank you, Father. I'll give you one scripture to it. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter. I'm gonna start at 7. I usually love to do the whole thing, but I'm gonna start at 7 real quick. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter, starting at verse 7. If I come across it real quick. Hold on. I just want to read this real quick. That just hit me. There you go, right there. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter, start at 7. Watch here. Right here. For the mystery of iniquity. The 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter, 7th verse. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work, which is in the second commandment. We say, Lord, that God is a just God, visiting the iniquities upon the fathers, upon the children. And there you go right there. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Why? Because they're in the Greek and the Roman Empire at this time. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Whoever gonna let it happen, they're gonna let it until they be taken out. That's what happened with Solomon. You're gonna let it happen until you've been taken out the way. That's what happened to him. But I'm also gonna give you what the Creator said according to his word as well, even though he was upset. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. No different than what I'm doing right now. Like I said, the presence of the Father is within you, and the presence of the Father is with you at the time when he's doing his law, doing his word, his prophecy, or when something is going around or something is around you of the Creator, his presence is there. People don't get it. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth through his chosen, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him, whoever they may be, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, which is actually the Greek and the Roman Empire, which we are in today. The third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Lying wonders. And with all people deceive, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness. Anything against the Creator's word is deceit and unrighteous. In them that perish. in them that perish. In them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, which is the Creator's word, which is the voice of Yah, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Here we go. And for this cause, what? And for this cause, Yah, it says God, Yah shall send them strong, what I'm just saying? Delusion. Delusion is the opposite of the imagination and the imagery that the Creator has given you to follow. And your delusion, you're delusional from the facts. Creator said, don't worship. You're doing the same. You're doing what he told you don't do. The Creator told you not to worship any other God. Y'all worshiping Jesus. Y'all worshiping the cross. Y'all worshiping even Yahshua. Y'all worshiping anything, all things the Creator said don't do. That's a delusion. You're delusional in the mind, thinking that a man died for your sin because they said a man died for your sin. Who said it? The Greeks and the Romans. They're the one who put this here to give it to you. And not only that, they even changed the name to show you that they said it. Because the man that they murdered, and it wasn't the Greeks and Romans who murdered him, it was the Hebrew Israelites, or should I say, it was the Pharisees and Sadducees. Let's just say that had him murdered. And the people that they convinced to speak against him had him murdered. Why? Because the delusion of the riches was beginning to flee their might as well say their fingertips. Delusion. See, the facts of the Creator's word is riches beyond measure, because the Father can make you, he can make you or break you. He can put you on high by keeping his word, or by not keeping word and put you on low like he did with us as the people now. That's why we going through the hell we going through. But people are delusional. They want to think something other than the truth. And that's the delusion of today. And for this cause, Yah shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. See what the delusion is? Delusion is a lie. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Thank you, Father, for hitting me with delusion. That was the perfect word. Hit me straight off. But let's keep it moving. Verse 10 again. And had, and it says, verse 9 and 10. Let me go ahead with both of them. We back in 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 9 and 10. And Yah was angry with Solomon because his heart turned from Yah of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. And like I say, I will never forget what happened with me. I'll never forget what I saw according to scripture. I'll never forget what I saw. Wherefore, verse 11, wherefore, came to him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other deities, gods, but he kept not that which Yah commanded. 11, wherefore Yah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rent the kingdom from thee and will give it to thy servant. See that? Hold on. He said, done this thing of thee, that thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, that I will surely rent the kingdom from thee and will give it to thy servant. Okay. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rent it out of thy son hand. Now see, that go your key right there. Hold on. I want y'all to understand something that was said. This is what I'm saying. Let me finish up on 13. I'm going to come back. Howbeit, I will not rent away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son after David, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. You see that? Now, let's get some understanding here. This is why I was trying to get to. This is where I was trying to get to so I can get people to get some understanding. Because people think, now what you got to understand what was said here. I'm going to show you that in a few moments, but let's go back and read a little bit and get some understanding before I give you the facts to the understand what we're about to read. Verse 11. Wherefore Yah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, this is done of you, that thou hast not kept my covenant, you have not kept my covenant, and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee. Okay. I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So he's going to say, now he said, I'm going to give it to your servant. We're going to read the whole thing and see how did this happen. Notwithstanding, in thy days, you see that? You see that? Notwithstanding, he said, in thy days, I will not do it. For David thy servant's sake, thy father's sake, shall I say. For David thy father's sake. But I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. You see that? You see that? Because he made a promise to David. I'm going to read it for you in a few minutes. But he made a promise to David. That's why he ain't going to do it the way he said he was going to do it. He's going to rend it out your hand, but he's not going to rend it out of your hand for as much as notwithstanding in thy days will he not do. He going to do it in his days. You see that? Because of what he has started to do. And this is how to, if you notice, I'm paraphrasing, I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. If you notice, this is where the kingdom was split. This is where Jeroboam was doing the stuff that he started doing with them other women. And this is where in Jerusalem, this is where the kings, Rehoboam, carried on the lineage. See that? The Creator made this proclamation right there because of what Solomon did. But he still didn't rent the kingdom from, it's been established through David. Remember? Understanding will keep thee. That's the whole understanding with this situation. That's the reason why the kingdom was split. That's why Samaria was under one rulership. Still, the whole thing was still of the Creator supposedly, but he rented out of the other 9.5 tribes was in Samaria, and they were doing their own thing. And over here in Judea, they was carrying on the ways of the Creator until some fell off. You know, they both were doing so somewhat of the each of the situation of the same thing. But in this whole situation, look at what happened. All those women had children from Solomon. Still is what? The seed of David. This is what I'm saying. You'll never understand why things happen, even though the Creator was upset. But he said what he's going to do. But that still doesn't disregard all the different seeds that came through all those women. And who knows how many of those seeds turned to the Creator and doing the Creator's will today. From those 1,000 women that Solomon had laid with. 700 princesses, which is wives, and 300 concubines. You don't know how many people in the earth today is going to turn to the Creator and start doing his will. That's who I speak on. So, right here, verse 11. Wherefore Yah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rent the kingdom from thee. So he said he's going to rent it from you, but not from you. He's going to rent it from he's going to rent it, split it in half, rent it from thee. But he's not going to do it from you, with you. I'm going to do it after your days. You see what I'm saying? Still through what? His seed. See, the whole thing is that His seed was over both kingdoms. David was over both kingdoms. Solomon became king over both kingdoms. Now the kingdom is rent. One side is doing what they want to do. The other side is still keeping the Creator's will as far as we know. But when Jeroboam came, well, we'll just keep it moving until we get there, all right? Notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rent it out of thy son, out of the hand of thy son. You see that right there? Then, howbeit, I will not rent away all the kingdom. You see that? I will not rent away all the kingdom. This is where it's split. You got to understand the word of Yah. This is how you study, research, and you walk through the word to find out what you need to know. But will give one tribe to thy son for David, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. Now, these so-called Jews, they try to make some commercial trying to say it went from tribe of Israel to Judah, the chosen tribe, and then from after Solomon, it went from Judah to Jews. They're a lie. They lied. They just try to make it look right. It ain't no Jews. Jews is a made-up fictitious name from Judah, and they try to make a whole new religion called Judaism. Man, them lies. Boy, that's why y'all got to know the word. That's why you got to study to know, to grow, in order to understand what's given. So now let's break it down to the point of view we need to get to. Right here, 1 Samuel chapter 7, 2 Samuel 7. 2 Samuel 7. Let's break down and get to the understanding of the reason why the Father is not going to rent out his kingdom. 2 Samuel chapter 7, right here. All right. And then this is going to be the end of part 1, and then we'll be going to part 2 in a few moments. Okay. This is Yah's covenant. This is Creator's covenant. We're going to start over, and we'll start at 10, and we'll take it to 17. 10 to 17, 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 10 through 17. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people, Israel, and will plant them that they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more. Y'all have to read the whole chapter to really get to this point, but I'm going here now. So we, for the sake of time. And move no more, neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. That's when they was in the time of Judges. As many times they came through, and certain things, children of wickedness kept coming through, and then they had to call on to the Creator every time the children of Israel turned from the Creator. They kept turning from the Creator, they had to call on the Creator. This is where Samson came from. This is where what's her name? Deborah came. She helped. All these different people in different time spans happened in the time of the Judges, right? So now he's saying what he was going to do as before time. He's going to plant them in their own land, which is where we are at this point. And as since the time that I commanded, here we go, Judges. This is the book of Judges I was just talking about. To be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies. Also, Yah telleth thee that he will make thee a house. This is the house, and this is what Solomon built. Right here, verse 12. And when thy days be fulfilled, he's talking to David, and thou shalt keep with thy fathers. Thou will sleep with thy father, my bad. Thou shalt sleep with thy father. I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels. This is how you know he wasn't talking about Jesus. Out of thy bowels. He's talking about Solomon. And I will establish his kingdom, which he did establish his kingdom, but the kingdom was actually established through David. It was from David through Solomon, and now it's going to be through Rehoboam, because it was split, rent. 13. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. which it is still established because it's not his kingdom, it's David's kingdom. But it's still established because we still talk about Solomon today. And how is it established? Through his seed. What seeds? The 1,000 seeds that Solomon had through all those 1,000 women. People can't see through and past the rhetoric or pass through the situation that's happening, but you can see if you have an open mind to understand what's going on. Just because a lot of those women had seeds and don't know down the line what seeds is going to turn to the Creator compared to those who are going to stay in idolatry. That's where we at today. Of his kingdom forever. Verse 14. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men. That's what we're about to read into now, I do believe. I haven't read into it, but I believe these are certain things that's going to come. I haven't read on further than where I'm at. But I know and understand from time past, where I read in time past, certain things has come up, but we're reading what's going on right now. What was said before all this happened. Prophesied. I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. Verse 15. But my mercy shall not depart away from him. You see that? Now, let me finish this point right here. Verse 15. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. You see that? That was the key right there. So what we just read. I will not take my mercy away from him. He was upset. The Creator was upset. He was angry. But what did he say over here again for clarification? Hold on, let's get back over here to... What did he say over here for clarification for verse 12? Notwithstanding in thy days will I not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rent it out of the hand of thy son. See that? Because that goes with verse 15 over here in 2 Samuel 7. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thine kingdom shall be established. You see what I'm saying? His house and his kingdom is still established today from him, through Solomon, through Rehoboam, and through the seeds from that point on. Get wisdom. Get knowledge, but in all thy getting, get an understanding. Why? Because understanding is going to keep you. If you know the word. That's why you got to go here a little, there a little. Go and see where the word of Yah spoke instead of where man has spoken. When you see Yah speaking, you know you can eat facts. And I don't care who they said wrote this book. Caucasian man, white man, King James. I don't care who they said wrote it. It's still the word of Yah. This is what people fail to realize. But let's keep it moving. Verse 16, and thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. And say, no, thy throne shall be established forever. David's throne. They still talking about David's throne today. It's still David's throne. What's David's throne? This earth. See, the Creator is over everything, all things. The earth is the Creator. The Creator is the King of kings over everything and all things. And who's ever in that kingdom, they are establishing it through the Creator because the Creator presence is with that individual, that king. Those servants, those prophets. The Creator presence is upon and within them. That's what people fail to realize. So a lot of times people out be talking against, they don't realize they're talking against the man. They don't know they're talking about the Creator's anointing. They're talking about the Creator that is within that individual that's doing the speaking and giving the information. They don't even realize it. And they're bringing the curse upon themselves. A lot of times people get cursed. A lot of times people get sick. A lot of times people lose things, lose their family, because it's a curse that came upon you because of your mouth, your way of thinking. Quick to speak something that you don't understand. But hey, that's on you. Can't say you wasn't warned. Warning comes before destruction. And again, I was 16 and 17 in this part. And we're going to go back over here to 1 Kings 11. And thine house and thine kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. 17. According to all these words according to all these words and according to all this vision So did Nathan speak unto David. So when you read, you can start off at 4. Yah's covenant with David. You can start off at 4, but start off at 1 and read the whole chapter of 2 Samuel chapter 7. Excuse me. 2 Samuel 7 will give you the understanding, because 18 through 29 is where David's prayer. He prayed to the Creator after Nathan came and gave him the understanding. From 18 on through is David's prayer. He prayed to the Creator after Nathan came and gave him the confirmation from the Father about building the house and what he was going to do by setting up the kingdom. So now we're at the end of Solomon's kingdom at this point in chapter 11, because right here, this is where he went into idolatry. The Creator got upset, but the Creator said he wasn't going to take his mercy from Solomon or from his son, which is Solomon, as he did Saul. Saul got killed. Saul, he rent the kingdom from Saul and gave it to David. He didn't do that with Solomon. He let his son come into place, which is we're going to get to when that time comes. But right now, we're going to say this is the end of part 1, because the adversaries of Solomon's coming next, and that's going to be in part 2, starting at verse 14. But this is the end of part 1, and before we go, I always got to say that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12. Matter of fact, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, belling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. You got to know the word to understand the word, in order to understand, to give, share, and get that word within you to understand it, to know it, and in order to do it. So we're an hour and 30-something minutes in, but I would like to ask anybody over here on the Zoom, is there anything in here that you got that you like to share? We ain't gonna make it long, we're gonna make it short, because we're about an hour and 30-something minutes in. But if there's anything in here that you like to share that you got out of part 1 at this point in time, is there anything anybody like to share? Out of Julia, Cass, Bev, Joanne, or Brother Patrick? Invitation going once?
Twice.
We waiting for it. Come on in, Brother Cass. What you got going? What'd you get out of the information so far today?
It's that the word apostrophe that he actually turned away. It's quite interesting what it says here. A total abandonment. He turned himself totally away because of these women.
Where it say that at?
Where are we? Verse, that's 1 to 8. I was at. Where are we?
Go to verse 6. Read verse 6 for me.
And Solomon began to do what was bad in the eyes of Father, and he did not follow fully like David, his father, did.
It's a certain word there that you missed when you said he went fully. It said he went not fully after the Lord. It means that he didn't say he turned fully away. It said he went not fully. It means that when it said that he was still with the Creator, but his heart wasn't fully with the Creator because he was doing this other stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that he turned totally away from the Creator. He was still with the Creator, but he wasn't fully with the Creator. He was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing. That's just like me. Example with me. I like to give myself an example. I had a young lady that in 2006, Spirit told me to put her out. Spirit told me, put her out. Now, I didn't understand if it meant put her out for that night or put her out for good, put her out of my life. I didn't know, really. But I was attached to her, just like Solomon was on this situation, but I wasn't worshiping no other. If anything, you could say, I wouldn't even say I was worshiping her. But the fact is that I was going against the word, because when it said put her out, I didn't understand, because I was really, like Solomon here, he said love. I was, in fact, I'm going to say I loved and was infatuated with this young lady. I'm not going to give her a name, but we had a 10-year relationship, right? But it was long distance. And I was getting signs. With, with people that hadn't even met her. Man, get rid of her. You don't need to be. And she wasn't bad or evil or nothing like that, far as I knew. But the point is that in my eyes, I was clean. I was stuck, but I still was like, it was still always on my mind. Should I? What was it that was told to me? Should I really get rid of her? See, I was still with what was told to me in my mind, even though I was with her. So I wasn't fully. Now, if I just said forget with that, and I just got with her, and I got married to her, and I got her pregnant and all, then I would have fully been away from what the word came to me back in 2006. I would have fully been away, because I would have ignored. That's the whole point. I would have ignored what the word came to me. But I made sure I didn't get her pregnant. Could have. All kinds of things could have happened. You know what I'm saying? I could have got married. I could have been in the worst position today, which a lot of people go through. They don't listen to when the Creator talk to them, and they go through situations and they wonder, woe is me, and want to blame everybody else when 3 is pointing back at them. So I can understand, and that's what I mean by experiences. We go through experience to understand something, but if you totally go against something that you weren't supposed to do, I'm about to go to something else, but I ain't gonna. Nope. But if you totally go against something that you're not supposed to do, that that's of the Creator, that's ignoring His word. That's totally ignoring. And it said here, in verse 6, it said, and Solomon did evil in the sight of Yah, and went not fully after Yah. He didn't go fully after him, as did David his father. Now, if you notice, as we've been going through this, every time David came on the scene, David always put the father first. When Saul was in, you didn't hear Saul say too much about the father. He probably asked, well, father is in Saul, not Saul, is in Samuel. Let's seek someone of him. Let's do this and that. He asked certain questions about it, but it wasn't when David came on. David, you always talk, well, in the name of the Father, in the name of God of Israel. And then he always talked about the Creator. He always talked about, until he got to the point when he saw that woman, Bathsheba. When he saw Uriah's wife over there bathing naked. She was fine to him. See, that's what I meant by your imagination. See, he done saw something he liked. Now he want to get it. Now he done forgot or just ignored the law, because now his mind on something else. Now his mind on that. See, and then he didn't even get to the point to be like, I guess, sometimes you can be doing so good, you can just forget the Creator. He doing so good. Oh man, tell her, come on over here. Oh, they said that's Uriah's wife. Uriah. Okay, Uriah. Okay, no, he's a Hittite. He ain't supposed to be among us no way. Now I'm gonna tell you, this first thing came to my mind when I first saw that. This is my thought. Oh, Uriah. Oh, he a Hittite. He ain't of Israel no way. We supposed to kill all these people off. I probably can get with it. End up, got over there, and his mind is stuck now. Now his mind is in the delusion of lust. He want to get that. She was fine to him from, I don't know how he see her. I don't know if she's out there on the rooftop or wherever she was at. The point is, I ain't gonna go too far in it, but the point is, he called another man's wife, no matter, and this is, some people try to use the word that's why in Jeremiah I seen where it said, Israel is wise to do evil. Now you want to try to use the word for yourself for your own gain. So That's what happened with David. He ended up getting caught up in the situation he got caught up in. And that's why he was upset at Joab, because Joab killed him and he told him don't do it because he knew it was his fault that his son ended up in the position. See, everything is always it's always something come up behind something when you don't do something right. And I'm thankful I didn't get that young sister pregnant. I'm thankful now. I'm thankful now. I know who I got now. That little pretty lady right there, name is Joanne Abbott. I know she is for me. I know who I'm supposed to have. But the point is, I'm glad I didn't go so far and make that mistake because I even felt when it was getting time, man, you might well leave her alone, let her go. And she was clinging to me. I was like, man, this is something. I'm 17 years older than this woman. I'm like, man, there's something wrong. There's something with this situation. She was into me, but she wasn't into me like if she was, it'd been a different story because I don't think that would have happened the way it happened. But things happen the way it happened. But like I said, it's the difference is fully uh he went not after fully after Yah as did David his father. I'm sorry about that, Cal. I kind of went on to that because I seen it for what it
No,
said.
that's fine.
Yeah, I just gotta, you know me, I gotta get into
What
it.
version of the Bible do you have there?
I have the King James version.
That's the what is that?
That's down here it said Nelson 135 at the bottom of the back of it. King James version, Nelson 135. That's all
Okay,
I
so
know. What you got?
if we're gonna do this, then I have to get one that corresponds with what you're doing.
Yeah, but yours still said fully. I heard the word fully there. Still,
Yeah, there are certain things that I missed out there. I didn't want to say.
come on, say it. Let me hear what you got.
No, this was a Jehovah's Witnesses Bible, so it was calling Jehovah.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, but it still said and Solomon did evil in the sight of Yah and went not fully after Yah as did David his father in verse 6.
This is saying fully, you see. And then I checked the word apostrophe. Was that apostrophe? Yeah, apostrophe.
You got apostrophe there?
Yeah, not in there. There's a word there that came up, so I looked it up.
What did it say?
That's what it was saying. He willfully turn around or departure.
That's true.
Or rebel against the Father, basically.
He did.
Yeah.
It did. He did willfully do it, but it also said he didn't fully turn from David. I mean, from Yah, and fully after Yah. Put it like that. He didn't fully go after the Creator like he did before. When he built that temple in 7 years. He was full fledged getting that, and then it took him 13 years to get his house did. So he did the Creators in 7 years. That means okay, that's number one. And then he did his in 13 years. Joanne, was you about to say something, baby? Miss Joe.
Oh, I guess I was unmuted.
Yes, you
Okay.
was.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't. I wasn't saying anything. I'm just listening.
Okay. All right.
But
Thank you for listening.
of course, the story of David, and the way he, like you said, willfully disobeyed Father's law, because he was consumed um, with the idea or the um, illusion of having Bathsheba, to the point where it made him delusional for a time, until Father had to pull his coattail and bring him back to reality, of the way he should have handled, or the way he could have handled the whole entire situation. He should not have ever gone after another man's wife. That is Father's law, and he willfully disobeyed it. Of course, he used as many excuses as he could in his mind
You
to
can't
aid
say
his
that.
mind.
You can't say that.
Well, I can't say that, but
And then did the
when
book say that?
well, it said the fact that that Uriah wasn't Israel.
Mm-hmm. Remember, I
That
told you that was my thought. That's what I
oh,
thought.
that was part of the scripture.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
That's what I
so
thought. I thought
what?
that I said when I first read that in my mind, because by him not being by Uriah not being Israelite, and they supposed to got rid of him. I said that's the first thing came to my mind. That's not
Oh,
scripture, but that's my that when I say something to me, I thought that, and that was my thought. But then also you got to look at he was fighting for Israel. He loved Israel so much he didn't go back to try to be with his wife. Where David tried to make him think that could have been his. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So
So I don't put that on the book. I just saying that's my thought because when I first read it, that's what I thought. But still, no matter what, if the book says if any stranger turn and keep the Creator's laws, he is a part of Israel. He's not physically Israel, but he's spiritually
yeah, he still is a part of Israel
right.
spiritually. But even in human with when we are in strong delusion of something, and
Mm-hmm.
we are at the point of what do we call it, desire, because he saw the young lady taking a bath on the balcony, or however the scripture says it. She was out in the open bathing, and he saw her body, he saw the form of her body, and he fell into the delusion of lust. And as much as he thought that he wanted her, he wanted to make her his wife. There is a lot that goes on when you're willfully disobeying to achieve a thing that you think you really really want, or you have the desire of really wanting that. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot that goes on in the mindset, and to allow the mindset to come against the word of Yah, which is the word that is supposed to balance you. It's supposed to bring you into all truth. But when you don't follow the words or the laws of what the Creator has given us, you succumb to those to the wickedry, or the 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 altar, so to speak, that you build up in your mind. She was the one at that time that he wanted, and until father had to send someone to pull his coattail, it broke the spell that was over him. To For me, that's what I understood the story to be. He broke the spell that was over him and brought him to truth, which was, you took another man's wife when you know you weren't supposed to do that. You put the man on the front line so that he could die when you know you weren't supposed to do that. It was so many things that led up to him just wanting to get this woman, that he put um, his own spiritual relationship with father on the line. And that is what I'm saying, that it is hard for man when you go against his word and you don't follow his word. You will fall into something that you can't dig your way out of. But yet father had a heart for him, and he brought a way out for him, just so he understood what he did, and he had to succumb to a punishment for that. He had to be punished for what he did, and father said that to him: because you have done this, this is what's going to happen.
Yep. And
And
I
he couldn't say, oh please father, this that. No, you disobeyed, just like any child. You disobey, and for the disobedience there is a punishment,
there
and
you
you
go.
have to take the punishment. and move on with your life and don't do that again.
That's right.
That's basically what it is.
And that
Okay,
and go ahead.
I'm
Yeah, and that's the reason why I read Second Thessalonians second chapter 7 through 12 to show you that all that right there mainly pertains in that scripture. You know, a lot of people do things, and when they get caught up in it, a lot of them don't repent, so they try to clean up and cover up, and it gets and the hole get deeper and deeper than what it is. When they just have to stop, repent, and turn. Excuse me. Brother Patrick, is there something you wanted to share on the conversation of the information of today concerning, Solomon wives and information, and also the understanding of the reason why a lot of this stuff happened and what's going on at this point? Is there anything you wanted to share about what you may know or come to understand?
Well, this is probably the first time I've actually sat listening to a Bible lecture, probably since I was 7. So it was interesting. Now I've got a bit of an understanding of law. Um, to see the word statute was actually mentioned in regards to Solomon, and I heard you mention it. So I'm just curious to find out what it meant in a biblical sense in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually means a law set by the authority, God, or a decree
Got
prescribed
it.
by rule, or something permanent or firmly established. So it was interesting to see that. It's just an observation, really. Statute, very interesting.
And you know something? That's what the world failed to realize, because the laws is the stat. You guys put it like this. The law is, let's just say this: thou should not commit adultery. I was gonna say murder, commit adultery, right? That's the law. Now you got statutes pertaining to that law. You know what I'm saying? The statutes is what pertaining to that law to give you an understanding of that law. Like I said earlier, as I was talking about these people talking, you got names and you got titles to that name. That's all. Like statutes is more like titles to the law. You know, you say thou should not murder. It says thou should not kill, but really it's thou should not murder. What is thou should not murder? Thou should not take any life for no reason, or just hypothetically saying no reason for any form, reason, or magic, whatever. Just then, the whole point is thou should not murder me. You should not take a life for no cause. You should not bear false witness to take a life for this. What have you? All these different things are laws that you have statutes or titles that go to those laws to have an understanding behind them. And then you have judgments to those things if you commit something against them. That's why it says laws, statutes, and judgments. That's why it's called the commandments. Commandments all together means laws, your statutes, meaning the titles to the laws, and then the judgments too if you break those laws and statutes. This is the judgment that will happen to a person. And it's just that simple. But the world think this is a religious book. No, it's laws, statutes, and judgment. The the precepts of men, the Council of Nicaea, the Greek and Roman Empire gave you religion, which is what? The delusion to the law. That's a delusion. Religion is delusional. See? See the two difference? You got lawful and you got legal. Legal is the delusion of the law. A lot of people don't get it. Breaking we say a broken tail light, a cracked windshield, running a red light or running a stop sign, and you haven't hurt no one, harm no. That's a delusion of the law. The law is if you actually hurt someone, actually harmed someone, if you actually did something to hurt, harm, or damage someone else's property or individual. That's a law. But this is the delusion of the law.
So all of
Legal.
these statutes that are written in law books, you have all these statutes and many other types of, you've got statutes and what else have you got? Well, let's just take statutes, right? That is a decree, or that is a law of God. But then when they apply it to us in law, they are wrongfully applying it because to have a broken light does not offend the God.
That's a delusion.
Right. And then they say you've committed an offense, which it doesn't offend anyone. You haven't offended anyone by having a broken light or, damage, having maybe a worn down tires or whatever, or not wearing a seatbelt. You've not offended God. You've not offended anyone. You've not offended the king or the queen.
There you
And
go.
then they're going to try now and extract money from you because you're supposed to have broken the law or the statute.
But that's the lie. Check it out. You just said it, right? You're supposed to have broken something that you didn't break. So when we just read a few moments ago, right here, it says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, it says, God shall send them strong delusion. You see that? That's in 2 Thessalonians. That was 10 and 11. Which is all, this is the delusion that they should believe what? A lie. Legalese are lies. They're delusions of what they call the law, which is not the law. It's legalese. They might be damned who believe not in the truth, which is the law, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, which is in legalese, or which is in the delusion of the world today. That's why you got to study the law, to know the law, to stand in the law. You see how it goes together, Patrick?
Yeah, so the statutes are given the force of law if they're accepted by the government.
Well, this so-called government is not the government. It's a corporation pretending to be a government.
No, I said if it is, so statutes are given the force of law
Right.
if they're accepted by the governed people, the people.
There you go.
So
there you go.
So you accept, if they say to you, look, you've broken a law, and you accept that you've broken a law, then it stands as law because you've accepted it.
There you go. That's true.
You've acquiesced to their demand.
That's fact. Because guess why? Because they don't know the law. They acquiesce to learning the law. They acquiesce from going in and studying, doing what we're doing right now. See? You can't do nothing you don't know. You can't stand on something you don't know. That's why I said my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you don't study to find out what you need to know to stand on, how you gonna know how to stand? That's why the people need lawyers or attorneys. That's why they need those today.
A lawyer is a liar.
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. So I'm glad that all this came out in this part 1 today of just. Go ahead, Brother Pat Cass.
No, I'm saying I'm glad he brought that up because I marked it down as well. Because when I came across it, I said, wait a minute, I gotta go look this word up. Statue. So that was good. Somebody else brought it out, so that's helpful.
Well, what you got? Come on, guys. What did he tell the definition to it, or you just or just a confirmation on the on the information?
The confirmation on that.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, the Solomon's wife, the one, the Sidonian.
Uh-huh.
That I think that's what sort of tipped the scale because she got him to start to worship that what's her name now? Astari? Is that the name of the goddess?
The goddess
she was an ancient
Astroth, yeah. The goddess of the Astron, yeah. For verse 5, for Solomon went after Astroth, the goddess of the Zidonians. I think there was more like the ones for Easter, I believe.
Yes, because it says she's goddess of war, sexuality,
and
royal power. Yeah, worship across Canaan and Phoenicia, all those places.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he got really messed up.
And you said especially got into
But
sex.
all of this was also, all the marriages were part of a political situation.
That's
He
right.
was trying to win his favor and all that kind of stuff. Oh, here's my daughter. She's a beautiful girl. All kind of stuff. I mean, it still go on today.
Yeah. But remember,
Governments, politicians go places. They keep giving them these girls. Oh, this is yours for the night. While in the back of the room there, they're recording them and stuff.
yeah. But you do also know back in the time of Solomon and back in those days, they actually used to give their children to the king so they can try to be
Right.
kind of connected to that family.
That's it.
Yep. Yep. So that's one of the reasons why I think that a lot of these women that Solomon end up being with, that's one of the reasons why my thoughts is, I can't say that's what it is because I don't know. But one of my thoughts is that a lot of these kings all over the earth that was coming to Solomon for his wisdom and information and bringing gifts and stuff, some of them was just bringing their children, their daughters, so he can be with them. They know, and you know they find if they find them beautiful, oh, they gonna bring them to him, and he gonna be like, oh man, she's fine. Come on over here, okay, you know. And like I say, we don't know the purpose behind it, but even though these things happened, the creator was mad, but he still held his law when he told David that he wasn't going to rent the kingdom from him. He wasn't going to like he did Saul. He did take the king from him, but he ain't taken from him. He took it from his son from being the king over both kingdoms. Now he rent the kingdom. One's the king over northern kingdom, which is Samaria. Then we had a kingdom over which you just got through saying right here, verse 11 through 13. Actually 9 through 13, really. So we're gonna end this right here with part one. We're 2 hours in right now for part one, but this was a good one today. This was good, and we're gonna be right back with part two of Solomon's wives and death. Solomon's wives and death is what this is called today. Other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. And again, before we go, just want to share that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This is prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. And we're going to be right back with part two on Zoom. So I'm going to pause y'all real quick, Sister Julia. Sister Julia, you ain't even saying anything. Are you in? Or would you like to say something? I was using the background when we first started. We're going to hold off then. She hasn't said anything. So I'm going to pause y'all over here on Zoom, and we'll be right back. So we're going to hold up. Don't go nowhere, but we will do this.
Recording stopped.
Okay. So, but everybody over here on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, this is the end of part one, which is, like I was saying, is Solomon's wives and death. I mean, this is the end of Solomon's story. But other than that, if anybody like to get in contact with us or back with us on part two. I'm sorry, connect back with us in the introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge, where we're helping our people get freed from this satanic system. Excuse me. According to the things that's going on today and the things that has happened in the world and that's going on in the world today. We're asking people that if you're interested, please send your name, number, and email to the number I'm about to give you. Your name, number, and email, and also ask for more knowledge of the information for the sovereign classes. If you want more information or for the sovereign classes, you would text me that and say, and you'll text me your name, number, and email. And what I would do is I would take your email and put it in my Google Calendar. It will come up in your email. Excuse me. Come up in your email, and then you will accept the invites for the dates. You will accept the invites for the dates that we have our public and our private meetings. The private meetings on Tuesdays, which I'm sharing with you right now. But if you will, just text me at 770-572-5315. Again, that's 770-572-5315. Excuse me. And you can also email me, just in case you like my email. My email is lkhyym@gmail.com. Again, that's lkhyym@gmail.com. All right. Now, if you'd like to get on one of my public forums is my YouTube and my X, formerly known as Twitter. That's YouTube and also X, formerly known as Twitter. And that page or the name is, excuse me, all of a sudden this happens always when I get done. I'm at this point. And the name of my X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as my YouTube, is JuicePro33, and which is spelled JUICEPRO33. Again, that's JUICEPRO33. All together. Put that in your search engine. On YouTube, you can like, subscribe, and share. And that's my information on my X, formerly known as Twitter. Then you can also connect with me on Facebook. My Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is spelled MI apostrophe CHAEL THE. My bad. I'm trying to get this heat coming on. It's a little chilly. Again, that Facebook again is Mikael Harris, which is spelled MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. Again, that's MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. Also, boy, this started getting to me right at this point. And if you'd like to connect with me on Instagram or one of my TikToks, there's Instagram and one of my TikToks. That's L'chaim _ the juice, which is spelled LKHYYM _ THEJUICE. Again, that's LKHYYM _ THEJUICE. That's my Instagram and one of my TikToks. My other TikTok and my other YouTube, which you can like, subscribe, and share on there as well, is at Michael the Juice Harris. That's Michael the Juice Harris, which is spelled all together, one word, MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. Again, excuse me, MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. All right. You can like, subscribe, and share on that YouTube and connect with me on TikTok as well. Now, if you'd like to see the full version will be on my rumble.com or patreon.com, both of them / LKHYYM. Again, that's rumble.com or patreon.com, both of them / LKHYYM. Excuse me. Now, for my platforms on my Zoom, if you're interested, if you'd like to connect with me, my platforms on Zoom and what we have on the public is we're here on we just say today, which is the Sabbath, at 12 p.m. noon on the Sabbaths, at 12 p.m. noon Eastern time. Then we're here on the night after Sunday, which they call Sunday night, at 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Night after Sunday, which is called Fight Fire with Truth, which is Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. We have open conversation on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We can talk about things across the board or whatever that needs to be talked about in any way, fashion, or form. We bring in truth to light at this point in time. Then on what we call night after Monday. After the night after Monday is 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. We go through the scriptures, word, or anything that's going on that we need to talk about, and we'll bring it out at that time on Monday, night after Monday. Then we have that following that morning, that quote unquote Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. or at 9 p.m. we have Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge. That's Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge on Tuesdays at 7:30 a.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern the night after. And also just wanted to share, if we have questions and answers according to that, we're going to start anywhere between 30 minutes up until that time. I put it like that. 30 minutes, anywhere between 30 minutes up until that time. So anywhere in between that time, we got questions, answers, we may get started according to Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge. Afterwards, we're going to be speaking about Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge on that topic, period. Nothing outside of that topic, period, at that time. So if you got anything to ask or talk on before that time, please come in early. We'll have a conversation, and we will start on time. No later than 5 minutes less. After that time, which is 9 p.m. on Tuesdays or that morning. Excuse me. Other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. And this is, should I say, part 1 of Sabbath, Assembly of the Righteous, and today's information is Solomon's wives and his death. Solomon's wives and death. All right. So we're going to say bye first to Instagram. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. We'll see you shortly. See you soon, and always. Peace. Be right back with part 2. All right. And over here on Facebook, we'll be right back with part 2. We'll be right back with part 2. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Thank you all for coming through for the moment that you were here. My uncle Anthony Avery, glad to see you, man. Hope you're all right out there in Flint. I guess that's where you still are. Sharam, thank you for coming through. And Sean Quill, all the prophets of Yahweh. Yeah, there you go, bro. I forgot. I don't know where that part was for, but he got all the prophets of Yahuwah. Other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, the listening there, and your seeing eye on Facebook. Peace. And over here on YouTube Live, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. See you soon. Peace.